cricket, but I don't care. Inch, 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 inch. Greetings, Royals. It's Constance from QueenlyMe.com, your place for tips, insight, and inspiration on relationships, purpose, and wellness. Today, I'm going to talk about something that is really, 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 really real. And I know it because I lived it, and I'm still living it. We are talking about 5 tips for being celibate and staying celibate. Amen. Praise God. All right. Let's just jump right in, because listen, I was about to say something very appropriate. I'm not going to do it. The first tip on staying celibate is to announce it, not particularly to the whole world, but to your world, the people in your circle. If you're in a relationship, they need to know that you've made this decision. I have been slow in relationships before and tried to be celibate without letting my boyfriend know that was what I was trying to do. Never, ever, ever worked out. But the reason that I did that a lot of times is because I knew that if I told them, that they wouldn't be okay with it. So I was like, okay, just try to avoid them when I feel like it's about to go down. Or yeah, that never worked. If you're in a relationship, they need to know that you are celibate. If you're about to get into a relationship, it doesn't need to be the first thing out of your mouth, but they need to know. Please don't be slow like I was, because it only sets you up for failure. And then let other people know it too, like your friends and your family members, because how many of y'all know that if you tell your friends or your family members, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, the first sign that they think that you are not, they're gonna let you know, like, oh, I thought you was trying to, ain't really working out, is it? That's only going to help you and give you motivation to really stand by your word, because you don't want them to be right. I know you don't. If you tell them, you're going to be motivated and you're going to have to be accountable to what you've decided to do, because they're going to put you on Front Street if you don't. Okay. Also, take this time to make sure that who you are surrounding yourself with and sharing this with are positive people. You don't need any negative Nancys. You don't need anybody who's going to talk you out of it. Even if it's not the life they live, make sure that they support your decision and that they're going to help you through this, because it's a good chance that you're going to need their help at some point with this. If one of your friends or your family members is continuously grilling you and asking you questions in a negative way, some people ask questions because they are interested and they kind of want to see like how it goes so they can apply it to their own life. But some people ask you questions just to try to transfer their negativity about the situation onto you. And if you have anybody like this in your circle, you might need to start limiting the amount of time that you spend with them. Because in the Bible, it says, how can 2 walk together unless they agree? So if this is something that they don't want to take into account for their own lifestyle, if they can't understand it, if they don't want to understand it, if they make you feel foolish for making this decision, then you might need to separate yourself from them. Okay? Okay. All right. Usually I decline calls while I'm feeling, but that was my best friend. So tip number 2 is to know your triggers. This is really important because we tend to give ourselves more credit in certain areas of self-control than we really deserve. We need to keep ourselves on a tight leash during this time. So please know what your triggers are. What tempts you? Even if this means fast forwarding certain parts of movies or skipping certain songs that give you flashbacks, memories. You know the one I'm talking about. Okay. You might need to even unfollow some people on social media. The insecure ones that's always like butt naked with baby oil on that just ooze sex from their pores, you know exactly the person that you oogle on social media. You might need to unfollow them. I'm just saying, this is gonna take some sacrifice. I probably should have mentioned that. The rule of being celibate and staying celibate is better to be safe than sorry. It's better to be too deep and make too big a deal out of something than to be a fool and keep slipping up, all right? Obviously, you're tired of doing that, or you wouldn't have made the decision to become celibate. You need to do whatever it is that you need to do to protect your eye and your ear gates. Because as soon as you make the decision to be celibate, everything is going to come into your vision, and everyone is going to say something that is going to tempt you to think about sex, to want to have sex. It's gonna be coming at you. So you have to be really careful about who you talk to, who you spend time with, what you watch on TV, what you listen to. Be very careful. Don't just listen to songs because you like the beat. Listen to the words because they seep in. Number 3, you need to define why you are doing this. One thing that helped me each and every time I was tempted was remembering all the ways that sex got me in trouble. There is no amount of hormones or fine men that is going to even compare to my memories of how horrible things turned out, all because of sex, and doing it outside of the parameters of how God intended. Now, if you don't have any of these memories to scare you into success with celibacy, then you need to consider yourself extraordinarily blessed. But either way, you need to write down the reasons that made you decide to become celibate, because these reasons are going to be your saving grace when your flesh makes you contract amnesia. Give yourself easy access to these reasons that you are going to write down and list. Keep them in your wallet, keep them in your purse, keep them on a note in your phone, keep them nearby, because you never know when you might need them. Have them on emergency standby, okay? And speaking of emergencies, tip number 4 is to have an emergency plan. We would be very, very foolish to think that just because we were like, okay, God, I'm gonna do it your way, I'm gonna be celibate, that nothing is going to come our way to try to trip us up with that. God and his angels are not going to constantly be standing at war against every temptation that's trying to come your way, just blocking it like a ninja. It's not really going to happen like that. You're going to be tested. The enemy is going to try you, and you need to have a plan when this happens. When? Because it's going to happen. You need to do your part to make sure that you're covering all of your bases and remaining in self-control. So just in case you find yourself in a sexy situation, here are some ideas of things that you can do for your emergency plan. Come up with an affirmation that you verbally say out loud just to interrupt the decision you're about to make, the action that you're about to take, the thoughts that are creeping in your mind. Sometimes you have to be louder than the thoughts that are in your mind. You just have to, I'm serious. You might sound crazy, you might look crazy, but it's gonna work. You can also find some scriptures that fit the situation that will kind of snap you out of it. Things that you can like recite in your mind over and over again, meditate on them, get them in your spirit, in your mind, in your heart, and then your body will follow. You should also have a friend to call. If you are going on a date, or if you know you're about to be around that fine coworker that you just want to bite, then listen. Okay. Sometimes people just look like, okay, let's not talk about that. Let a friend know ahead of time, like, listen, I need you to be on standby, because if I have to dip in the bathroom or if I have to run outside and call you, I need you to snap me back out of it. Give them a copy of the reasons that you are doing this, so that they can bring those things up if you get yourself in a sticky situation. Like, okay, you said you wanted to do this because of this, and remember that you really want to do this and you don't want to do that anymore. Have that friend on standby. That's really the best thing that you can do for your emergency plan. Another thing that you can do is have an exit strategy. Know when to flee. Everything is not going to be blocked from us. Sometimes we have to remove ourselves from temptation. We literally just have to run from it. So you should already have in your mind before a date or before you're about to be around this person, you need to say, if this happens, then I am going to leave out of that door right there. Literally, pick an exit and say, if this happens, if I start thinking these thoughts, if I start feeling this way, I'm going to grab my things and leave out of that door. Specifically, that door right there. Have an exit strategy. That's going to save you. Okay, tip number 5 for staying celibate is to pray. Now, I understand that in sticky situations, you're not really going to be able to jump in the spirit and just pray like a beast. Like, you're not going to really have time for all that. So sometimes, if all you can do is just say the name of Jesus, that prayer is good enough. Or help me, save me, any of those will work. God is going to come to your rescue. He knows when we're in trouble. And sometimes you have to get ahead of your thoughts. Like, you know yourself. You know what your triggers are now. Before they even come, you know when they're coming. Sometimes just say his name. Just Jesus, 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 until it's gone. Trust me. I've done it and it works. Now, don't say it too late. Here's the issue. We get into this whole one thing led to another. No, one thing is not going to lead to another. You going to pray and you going to intercept all that before one thing leads to another. Because if you're saying Jesus, 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 and they already on top of you, that's not going to stop anything. Huh? Oh, yeah. That's not going to stop anything. Okay? And then be honest with God about things that you need his help with. And talk to him about how you're feeling and just really what you're struggling with. Ask him to cover you and to even come into your mind and your heart and your body and change things. He will do it. Things that used to tempt you won't tempt you anymore if you just ask him for his help and be honest with him. So I hope these tips helped you. They certainly help me, which is why I wanted to share them. If you have some other tips for me, because I can always use some more of those, then drop them in the comments, or you can email me at constance@queenlyme.com. Go on over to queenlyme.com actually and check out her new look. Because, honey, she went from a snack to a meal, okay, boo-boo? And it wasn't even a good snack. It was like broccoli. But now, she's giving you something you can feel. See, that's one of those songs. That's one of those songs that you should probably just skip. All right, you guys. I will see you same place next week. Stay strong. You got this. We got this. Bye.